How's it going, guys? This is Chris from Red Diamonds Tactical Airsoft team. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fix a Slamfire on an Echo 1 M28. Alright guys, here I have the M28. I've disassembled the main body from the barrel, the bolt assembly, trigger assembly, stuff like that. You don't really need to take your scope off for this if you don't really want to. There's only 3 Allen key bolts holding in the polymer body to the rest of the assembly. They're pretty easy to take out. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take out the little metal piece that's in the trigger assembly. That way you can release the bolt as the spring guide catch or something like that. And after that, bolt should pull right out. Put that to the side. We don't need that anymore. Alright, this is the point where some people get confused as to how to disassemble the rest of this. And let's see if I can get it a little bit closer to showing you. Right here, there's 2 holes in the top of the nozzle. Take some needle nose pliers, line them up to the holes, and twist. It's the easiest way I've learned to get that out of there without using a special tool that costs some money, plus it takes some extra time for shipping. Usually if you want to fix it, you just want to fix it now, get it ready to go. So after a little bit, you can kind of just unscrew it with your hands. Alright, there we are. So there's your nozzle. Set that off to the side. The reason that most Echo 1 M28 Slamfire is because when Echo 1 built the rifle, they put in this plastic piston that was not nearly strong enough to hold the massive spring that they put in their stock. So this, you can't see it, but if you look closely, there's like a flat spot. It's been just chewed away by the sear set. I decided not to replace the sear set because people said that even after they replaced it, it was going back to slam firing in a couple shots, so I figured that was a waste of money. My sear set's still perfectly stock, and it hasn't slam fired in quite a while. Alright guys, so what this is this is a metal piston made by Future Energy, been rebranded as Matrix by Evic. It came in a cylinder kit from Matrix that was about, I think it was like $78 for the entire cylinder, spring guide, and this piston, and they were breaking. I put about 600 shots through this. It hasn't broken yet, and the reason I believe that they were breaking is because when you upgrade a rifle that started out at 530 feet per second, you're asking for trouble. That's a lot of pressure to be putting on a spring rifle. If you really want a rifle that goes that high in the feet per second range, you really got to get like a CO2 or something like that. For a spring rifle, you can only go so high before there's too much stress on all these metal parts, and you're just waiting for something to break, basically. You can buy the piston separately from the entire upgrade kit on eHobby Asia. It's called Future Energy for, I think it was like $16.99, and it's definitely worth it. It's done pretty well. It's just a normal piston, really. And instead of buying the whole $80 upgrade kit for 16 bucks, you just get the piston. You can get multiples if you really think they're going to break. Haven't had a problem yet. And yeah, so the only thing you need to do to make this fit into your stock internals is your spring guide is going to be it's much too long. When you try to fit the two together, it's going to stick out about probably about half an inch-ish. And what you're going to do to solve that is just going to drill off about half an inch off the tip of the spring guide. It's not going to affect it. It's still going to serve the same purpose. It's going to fit flush with your new piston. So basically, you just do the steps in reverse, put it back together. Always make sure you're using a little bit of grease. Just a light dab of metal grease right here. You don't want to overdo it, but definitely make sure your guns are well greased. Otherwise, you're just going to be scraping up the metal inside the gun, and that's definitely not good. Make sure you're putting grease on all contact points of the piston. There are 3 different contact planes on this piston, so make sure you're getting all those. And then make sure the spring is inside the piston, and then before you put it together, push on the top of the piston and make sure it's sitting pretty smoothly inside there before you try to screw it back on. That way you're not pinching the O-ring or anything like that. Alright, so just screw the nozzle back on. And needle nose pliers again to tighten it up. Make sure this is tight onto the cylinder. If it's loose, you're going to lose air pressure, and it could possibly come apart in the gun, which is just a mess. So definitely keep that tight. And make sure when you're using the needle nose pliers, you line them up, press it pretty hard into the little peg holes there, because otherwise it's going to slip and damage the nozzle. Not too bad, but you just want to make sure that yeah, you don't damage too much of the gun. Alright, so there you have it, all installed and everything like that. Let me throw it back into the trigger assembly so that you can see that it is fully functional now. There is a little bit of a latch here that you need to depress with a screwdriver in order to allow the bolt back into the housing assembly. Let me get that real quick. I missed it. And then when it gets this far, it's going to get stuck again. It's going to have some like spring tension to it. The way to fix that, flip it over, there's this little tiny peg. You can't really see it from there, but you'll be able to see it on your rifle. On the driver's side of the gun, or the left side of the gun, there's a little tiny peg in like an L-shaped hole. All you do is press, you have to pull this bolt back just about half an inch or so, and you just press that down, it slides right in. Alright, now all we need to do to test this is put this little spring guide catch in here. It's pretty easy, just there you go. And then rotate the bolt till it catches. Got it. Alright, so I'll fire this a couple times just to prove to you that this problem is solved. Crap. Hold on, I can't prime it right now. Sorry about that. Really didn't have the leverage to prime it. But it still primes, fires. Like I said, this is after about 600 shots. Piston's still working fine. So I think that's about it. Alright, so definitely make sure that you check this part out on ehobbyasia.com. It's going to take forever to get to your house, being from China, but for $16, it's worth it. Buy one, buy two, do whatever you have to do. If you stock up, probably would be a terrible idea in case it does happen to break on you, or you can buy the lower strength ones. I did get the, I think it's a 75% upgrade, the blue one, because I figured if it was probably the strongest of the three. Alright, well I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped, and if it did, please remember to subscribe to our channel and like this video so we can get the word out there. Thank you very much.